I think you are going to be surprised to learn that I am definitely a fan of Alanis Morissette. I think that's surprising because for most of you, when you think of what music I like listening to, you would, oh yeah, Nick, he wears those Metallica shirts. He likes Metallica. Absolutely true. Probably the most influential band at this point in my life for me. I love Metallica. I've made videos about that. I've made references to Smashing Pumpkins, Johnny Cash. But Alanis Morissette, I can totally appreciate. And yes, this is a video about hair loss, in case you're wondering. Today I was listening to Alanis Morissette on this old beat up iPod that I have. I've got my old CD collection on there because my CD player stopped working on my car. I have a very old car at this point. And I was listening to this song called 21 Things I Want in a Lover. I know that sounds weird that I'm even making a video about this, and you're thinking, how is this relevant to hair loss? One of the things I really appreciate about Alanis Morissette is that when you listen to her lyrics, she's undeniably female, but she has a certain way of communicating to males, and she has an interest in communicating to males that I think really gets through. I think a lot of times when you listen to a female singer, it's catering to a female audience. I think female country artists are specifically that way. Most of them, not all, but a lot of them, I don't really care what they have to say. And I'm not saying that Alanis Morissette is country, she's obviously not. But I'm saying contrast Alanis Morissette to, say, Carrie Underwood, and I think we all know what I'm saying. Alanis Morissette has a good way of communicating to men, and I want to share the lyrics to the song with you because I feel it shows you the way women are wired and what they actually care about, and when it comes to being attracted to a man. And I've made multiple videos where I interview single girls for the sake of you to help figure out what they actually find attractive. And time after time, they don't bring up physical appearance, they bring up other things, which tells you the difference between what men and women are attracted to in each other. And I ask you to be open-minded to that because it's easy to think, well, this is what I'm attracted to in her, so surely she puts the same value system on looks that I do on her. But that's not the case. Let's get into the lyrics of this song. This song, again, is called 21 Things I Want in a Lover. Alanis Morissette. So, here we go. Do you derive joy when someone else succeeds? That's the opening line. And what's funny is, earlier in my life, no. But now, absolutely. Why wouldn't I be happy for other people when good things happen to them? On top of that, I don't even want bad things happen to my perceived enemies. I want good things to happen to all good people. I want all people to be redeemed and be able to celebrate life. But I didn't used to be that way. I cared more about myself succeeding, so I couldn't appreciate that something good happened to someone else other than me. She says, do you not play dirty when engaged in competition? Which again kind of goes back to that you can appreciate someone else's success and not to envy it. Next she says, do you have a big intellectual capacity but not know that it alone does not equate to wisdom? And that's a very intelligent statement. So basically, are you emotionally intelligent, but do you understand that even if you are, that doesn't mean that you don't need to still keep learning in life? Do you see everything as an illusion but enjoy it even though you are not of it? Which I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that the way we perceive life is not necessarily reality. I know that sounds a little bit like the Matrix, but I think that's important to some degree to understand that what we perceive as reality may to some degree be reality, and maybe for the most part be reality if we're lucky. But ultimately we have to understand that at the end of it, reality is about this much what we see and about this much what everybody else sees. And I can recognize that now. These are things I didn't understand in my teens and 20s, and in my late 30s I totally get them now. All right, next up. This is going to be challenging for a lot of you to get through this, because what I'm about to say is going to be the turning point in which a lot of people want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs down. Her next line, are you both masculine and feminine? I have done a lot of commentary on what it means to be an alpha male on this channel. And we have this outdated stereotype of this caveman yelling in anger, getting his way. In reality, it does not work that way. In 2018, 2019 that we're about to start, it doesn't work that way. It's all about collaboration. It's all about negotiating. It's all about helping each other. That's how you get ahead in life. That's how marriage works. And I was even thinking about Johnny Cash, speaking of his song, I Walk the Line. If you listen to all the lyrics of that, you can see that he is so much in love with this woman. We think of Johnny Cash as a very masculine, macho guy. But in Walk the Line, you can see very clearly that we're looking at more of a beta personality when we look at this song. And that's one of his best songs. So we've got a macho guy switching over to beta mode, because to be successful as a masculine guy, you have to switch into beta mode. So I'm comfortable with being both masculine and feminine because I'm married to a woman for over 10 and a half years. I have to understand in some ways what it's like to be feminine, to be able to communicate and live in peace with my wife, and for she and I to love each other and make it past the 10-year mark. That's not just because we're lucky, it's because we understand each other better now than we did over 10 years ago. All right, moving on. She says, are you politically aware? Which I think that's important. I think it's important, especially in modern day America, that we're not wrapped up in being so bipartisan, that we're so Republican or so Democrat that we can't understand the other side. It's important to pan the camera back and think, well, what do I agree with that party and that party, but what do I disagree with that party and that party, to give us a clear understanding. I think that's what. Here's another. She says, and don't believe in capital punishment. No, okay, that can be up for debate. In my younger years, I absolutely was in favor of capital punishment. I even said probably 8 years ago, I remember telling a coworker, man, when it comes to the death penalty, I could be the guy that pulls the trigger or pulls the switch or whatever it is to kill these guys. I said that 8 years ago. That was how I felt. And now I definitely don't feel that way. Perhaps one of the main reasons is because I've watched enough documentaries on Netflix understanding how many people are in prison for crimes they didn't actually commit. Maybe they confessed to them, but they didn't actually commit, or false evidence. Not to mention, don't we all know by now that if you're black or Latino, you're much more likely to be thrown in prison for a crime that a white man would have committed, but he would have got out. So no way, I'm not interested in capital punishment. Not at all, not anymore. Moving on. Other questions she asked. Do you derive joy from diving in and seeing that loving someone can actually feel like freedom? I love that. Are you funny? Look at that. Are you funny? I keep talking about in my videos how important it is if you're a guy and you got a receding hairline and you're freaking out about it. Oh no, people are think I'm ugly if I lose my hair. But people are judging you on if you're funny or not and how important that is. And here it is again. And she says, and self-deprecating. Do you know what that means? It means that you're able to make fun of yourself. I've made videos talking about that if you're experiencing hair loss, that you have to be able to make fun of yourself, to take the joke and it not bother you. Because people respect and are attracted to men who can laugh at themselves. All right? Do you like adventure? Well, that's a given. You better like adventure. Women are attracted to men who are adventurous and not like, I don't know what you want to do. She says, and have many formed opinions. That's important. Having a spine, having a backbone, knowing what you believe when on certain things, so that you, when it comes to being decisive, which is a masculine quality, you know what to do with that. You don't have to be opinion about everything, but to have certain formed opinions, yeah, that's definitely important. All right, let's see what else she mentions up here. As she wraps it up, she talks about being uninhibited, and I think that's important as well. And I want to actually go back to that in a minute, and we'll look up that word, uninhibited. She talks about being experimental, okay? Yeah, being open-minded, being creative, that's very important. Are you athletic? That's interesting. But on my videos before, I've talked about that one of my own important masculine traits is that you're in shape, that you're healthy, that you take care of your body. And there she mentions it. See, this is awesome to me. I think this totally backs up what I've been saying in my videos all year long. Are you thriving in a job that helps your brother? Wow, that's awesome. How many times have I talked about how men are judged as being attractive when they know what they're good at and they know what they're not good at, and that they are skilled, that they are able to make a living off of something they're good at. And she specifically adds that helps your brother. Well, of course, as opposed to hurting your brother or taking advantage of other people. Totally. And then last question, she says, are you not addicted? Which we can take that in many ways, but ultimately, are you addicted? We're thinking that as a negative. Are you obsessed with something that is eating up all your time, money, and energy? Being addicted to anything is not a good thing. And so she's asking, are you addicted? Because she's basically going to, she's implying that, hey, that's not a good thing. All right, so lastly, I'm going to just end by looking up the word uninhibited, because that's not a word that we use often. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Here it is. It's expressing one's feelings or thoughts unselfconsciously and without restraint. I think that's important. Uninhibited. She's asking, are you uninhibited? In other words, going back to this caveman alpha male who isn't good at communicating, it's important that even a macho guy switches over to beta mode throughout the day with other people he encounters. It's not always about being in charge. It's about collaborating. And if you let your guard down enough to do that, you are going to be uninhibited. You're not going to have your guard up all the time so that people will not feel connected to you. See, these are very important things. This is a very important video. It shows us how women see men. The tragedy is many people watch this video and still think that their hair loss is the thing that women are judging them on. But these are ways to be attractive to anyone, but here you are hearing it from a female on what she finds attractive. And that's not just Alanis Morissette from a song she did a while back. This backs up what females think in general. This is gold. Can you accept the gold? Leave your comments right here. It's not about hair loss. It's not about you perceiving yourself. It's about how others perceive you. This is a lesson in emotional intelligence. This is about what you learn in your 30s, but you can't know in your 20s or teens. You need a 37-year-old and Alanis Morissette to tell you a little bit about reality. Can you accept my reality? Let me know right here.